Now, in the previous video, you should have looked at the basic sort of tools on this, how to move around this space, and also looking at how to make a desk organizer using components. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you some more advanced tools, which can be really useful if you're trying to design and sort of create something that's got maybe some curves or something that's a little bit more organic. Now, so far you've only used these sort of basic tools up at the top here. If you go to View, Toolbars, and then do Large Tool Set, it actually adds a few more tools on here. Now, some of them are repeats of each other, so you know, like the circle, square tool, things like that. They're all the same ones as the ones on here. However, we do gain some other new tools. We do gain the Scale tool, and we do also gain the Follow Me tool, which are the ones that we're going to look at in this video. Now, the Follow Me tool is very useful because what it will do is, let's say I created this shape here, and then I'll look at the front view of this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line going from the middle of that circle. So let's say I wanted sort of the stand of a lamp, perhaps. Okay. Oh, that one's gone a bit wonky. Let's try that one again. So I'm going to just go back. I'm going to do my proper camera view here because it's not worked quite well. So I'll go back, front view. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm going to look at this from this side, and I want to use my tool here, and I want to draw in the middle of this. So start drawing in the middle, and what you can do is once you've selected that middle point, you can then click in the middle and then rotate your camera back down. And what this allows me to do is, hopefully these lines are in a better position. That's better, because the first one sort of went off towards me, which I didn't want. Now, what the Follow Me tool does is, let's say if I offset this circle here, so let's say that was the, I don't know, the base of my lamp or something like that. So I'll draw that down, pull that down to there. So that's the base of my lamp, and I'm going to pull this up to that point there. The Follow Me tool will allow you to select a circle of some kind or another shape, and then it will follow a specific line that you've drawn. So you can draw it up like this, and the thing to be very mindful of is if you are using right angles, you will end up with very sharp angles drawn on there, and sort of very sharp actual bends on there. They won't be as smooth really as if you'd used curves. So just to bear that in mind, that you might want to add curves on there. Then what we can do is, let's say I looked at this point here, I could then draw a circle shape from this middle point here. I'm going to draw this a little bit larger. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my front view, the toolbar, camera, that's what I meant, standard views, and then front. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to draw focusing on this point here. So what I can do is I can actually add, and I want to kind of lock onto the highest point of that because I want to try and do the shade now. So what I could do is this kind of shape, like so, and I'm going to make it actually sort of 3D. It has to be like an actual full shape, otherwise it won't work. And then if I connect this back to here, and then I just need to line them up and just make sure I haven't got any gaps, because if there's gaps it won't let you do it. That will explain why. It's because it's done it at a strange angle. So yours might do this as well, so you'll just need to persevere with this and just try it again. Sometimes it can do that based on the angle that you're looking at, because it's not locked onto a proper axis. If this doesn't work again, I'll show you another option of what you can do. Okay, so I'll try that again. So looking at it like it's a flat surface. No, it's not doing that. So we'll try again a different way. What we're going to do instead then, because it doesn't like that, what you can do is you can actually draw like a rectangle shape first. So what I'm going to do is draw a kind of larger rectangle, because what this will do is it will encourage it to draw on this surface, and this will be flat. So if I then draw my shade like so, and then what I'll do is I'll draw it back to here, and then I'll line it back to this point here. And then what I'll do is I'll rub out these outside areas, and it should leave me with this bit. And because I've drawn it on the rectangle, it's all flat, so you basically add it almost like it's a piece of paper, and then you draw it over, and then you just get rid of the bits that you don't need. It's not an exact science, but it does work quite well with this. And then what you can do is you can copy this round, and you can see it's trying to calculate it. It's trying to calculate it already for me. And then if I click, and then you've got your endpoint, and then that's how you would add a shade. So quite nice and simple, but you can see the sort of versatility of the follow me tool on there. And then I said about the scale tool. So what this means you can do is select your object, and then if you click scale, you'll then see that you get all these green cubes that appear, and you can do a uniform scaling. If you go to any of the corners, it will scale the whole object at the same time. If you click on the one in the middle, it will kind of squash it, and the same from all the others. And they have different ways of kind of moving them. So if you select any of the ones in the middle, what they will do is they will prioritize and almost stretch the object in that given direction. So if I want it to be wider, then you can see it stretching it out this way. Predominantly, most of the time, you will use the full scaling tool. Okay, so that's the most useful one to use, and that's useful if you've got like a component that you're trying to design, and you kind of want it to fit together really. So, you know, say for example, if I had, let's say part of my design I wanted to do a basic desk just to show a lamp in situ. Okay, I might just have a quick drawing of a desk. Move that across a bit. Okay. And then what you can do is you could always move your design onto there. So again, try and click onto a corner of some kind, and you'll see that it wants to actually sit on top of that surface. And then I'm going to try and lock this onto this position here rather than it trying to go down all the time. It doesn't seem to like moving up and down that much. I think it's because I drew that line underneath rather than above right at the beginning, so I'll just flip it round. So I'll extrude this bit up if I can. I'll extrude this up, and then I'll get rid of this bit. And then what I can do is I'll move this onto there, and then you'll see the dangers of not making components as well, because if you try and now move this, it's trying to select the desk as well. So that's why in that sort of first video I sort of said to you about making components. So if I select this now, make a component, I'll call it lamp. It then means that I can move this as like a whole component and it won't try and lock in. I could then fix my little bit here where I pulled this down instead of it going up. So I'll just fix that quick. That should allow it to sit on top. Part of the problem was that I drew it like underneath the work surface, so it thinks I want it to be underneath the work surface. But fix that. So yeah, move this onto here. Okay, and then what you can do is you can rotate it. Another little tip as well. You've probably noticed when you select an object, you get these like crosses. You can actually select them to rotate objects as well. So it's much quicker and easier than it would be to go and select the rotate tool. And you can obviously rotate them on these sides as well. It will naturally rotate from the center of the object rather than a specific point. But it just means you can kind of visualize your workspace a little bit more and sort of show it in an actual situ. So if you had something in a kitchen, you could sort of have a rough design of a kitchen as well, just to really show how it works.